Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome, MBA students and future marketing leaders, to today's explainer. So here's the scenario. You've done the segmentation, right? Your positioning is absolutely flawless, and your product is honestly incredible. But when the consumer actually goes to hit that buy button, nothing happens. Crickets. Today, we're going to crack the code on exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how India's smartest brands fix it. Picture this. You've been meaning to go to the pharmacy for, 3 days now? You need a specific medicine. You know exactly which one you need. You know exactly which local pharmacy actually has it in stock, and you literally have the cash in your wallet. And yet, somehow, you just haven't gone yet. Or, okay, how about this one? You've wanted to switch to a healthier cooking oil for months. You've seen all the targeted ads, you totally believe the science behind it, you know it's way better for your family, but every single time you're standing right there in the grocery aisle, you just reach out and keep buying the usual brand. Or maybe you've been thinking about ordering something, a little embarrassing online. A personal care product, or maybe a sensitive medical device. You actually add it to your cart, you look at the total, but right before hitting checkout, you panic and just close the tab. Look, in every single one of these scenarios, you had the money, right? And you had the intent, but absolutely no purchase happened. So why does this happen? Well, because a barrier stood in the way. A purchase barrier is essentially an obstacle preventing a consumer who already wants your product from actually buying it. Listen, this is absolutely crucial. We are not talking about convincing people to want the product here. We are just unblocking the folks who already do. To systematically destroy these obstacles, marketing theorists classify them into a really simple 3-part framework: product barriers, self-barriers, and social barriers. Each one of these requires a completely different strategic solution. As you'll see, the best billion-dollar brands in India have cracked every single one of them. All right, let's tackle number 1, product barriers. So product barriers are external obstacles caused by the product's own limitations, like availability or convenience. Basically, the consumer wants it, but getting it just requires way too much effort. Look at Grofers back in 2013. They offered next-day delivery, sure, but consumers still had to plan ahead, right? So that effort barrier remained firmly in place. But then, in 2021, they executed this radical pivot to Blinkit, coming out with an absolutely unbelievable promise. 10 minutes. Not same day, not 2 hours, literally 10 minutes. This completely dismantled those planning and waiting barriers. I mean, you no longer need a grocery list, you no longer need to wait around. By setting up hyper-local micro-warehouses, they completely 100% erased the effort barrier. And the business impact of removing this barrier? Absolutely staggering. By completely eliminating that friction of waiting, they captured a massive 46% market share of India's online grocery delivery space in 2024. And the momentum didn't stop there. Once consumers realized, hey, this product barrier is totally gone, adoption just skyrocketed, resulting in a whopping 60% growth in app downloads in just a 3-month period. Best of all, because the convenience was so frictionless, they saw an incredible 45% spike in repeat customers. I mean, that right there is the pure power of identifying the right product barrier and just demolishing it completely. Now, to handle the other major product barrier, price. Quick commerce giants like Instamart, Zepto, and Blinkit use something called the point pressure effect. By setting free delivery thresholds at, say, 100 or 199 rupees, they prompt you to add just a few more items to your cart. It's this brilliant psychological trick that makes the delivery price barrier feel like it simply doesn't even exist. Okay, moving on to number 2, self-barriers. These are the internal obstacles. So we've conquered the external obstacles, right? But self-barriers live entirely inside the consumer's head. They essentially boil down to an identity mismatch. It's that little voice inside saying, you know what, I'm not really a gym person, or this isn't for me. The consumer has basically mentally excluded themselves before they even try your product. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point. How do you actually fix that? Well, you reframe who the product is for. Look at how Cultfit handled this in the Indian fitness market. They knew the barrier was people thinking, people at the gym are going to judge me. So their early marketing deliberately showcased ordinary people, not hardcore athletes, not fitness models. They showed everyday people struggling, sweating, and improving. They successfully dismantled that self-barrier by visually proving to the audience, hey, this space is for people exactly like you.
We saw the exact same brilliance in the edtech sector. Unacademy faced a massive self-barrier in Indian education. Students were thinking, I'm just not smart enough to crack UPSC, or people from my background simply don't get into IIT. To shatter this, Unacademy's brand strategy heavily featured toppers from small towns, lower-income families, and regional language backgrounds. They didn't just sell study materials, they sold the consumer a brand new image of themselves, basically proving that they too belonged at the very top.
All right, let's hit number 3, social barriers. And this one is heavily tied to societal judgment. This barrier is uniquely powerful in the Indian market. A social barrier happens when a purchase feels embarrassing or just carries heavy social risk. Think about walking into a packed public chemist shop in India. You have to announce loudly enough for everyone behind you to hear that you need, sensitive treatments. That sheer social anxiety kept literally millions from buying healthcare products they genuinely needed. Enter PharmEasy. They realized their real product wasn't actually medicine. The real product was privacy. By allowing users to order privately on a discreet app with quiet, safe delivery, they completely removed the social risk. No awkward public conversations, no judgment from that random uncle standing right behind you in line. PharmEasy unlocked a massive, previously dormant market of quiet sufferers simply by eliminating that social barrier. We also see this play out in men's grooming. For years, Indian men face this huge cultural barrier, the deeply embedded belief that real men don't use skincare. The fear of being judged as feminine or vain kept a massive market completely locked up. But then, brands like Beardo, The Man Company, and later Mama Earth, they shattered this by aggressively using rugged packaging and highly masculine visual language. They dismantled the social fear, making skincare not just acceptable, but actually aspirational for Indian men. All right, Professor Pivot time. Let's talk about how you apply barrier analysis for your MBA exams. When you're handed a case study where demand clearly exists but conversion is totally flat, I want you to run this exact 3-step checklist. Step 1, look for a product barrier. Is it too hard to get? Fix the access. Step 2, look for a self-barrier. Do they feel they don't belong? Reframe their identity. And step 3, look for a social barrier. Are they embarrassed? Create privacy. Just run that playbook. If you take absolutely only one thing away from this explainer, let it be this powerful insight. The biggest opportunity in a market isn't always finding brand new customers. Very often, it's simply removing the barriers that are blocking your existing customers from buying what they already want. Unlocking that existing intent? That is exactly how you build a billion-dollar brand. So, we figured out what goes on inside the consumer's head. But what actually happens when we zoom out to look at the massive corporate structures behind these products? In our next explainer, we are going to dive deep into brand architecture. How do Amul and P&G, two of the most dominant FMCG giants in India, make the exact opposite strategic branding decisions? Umbrella brand versus house of brands. Who actually wins that war? Join me next time as we break the whole shebang down. See you then.